It's Greg from playwithgreg.com and YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and everything else. Also Play with Greg. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to change this broken, beautiful blue JoyCon's right analog. Now I'm going to do this for the very first time with this particular kit, link in the description. And we're going to see how it goes. Literally opening it for the first time right now together. So my kit came in a bubble envelope, and it had a screwdriver, a tweezer, another screwdriver, and the analog nubs. Now this is a special screwdriver because the switch uses it's almost like a triangular type screw rather than a Phillips or a flathead. So we've got both the small Phillips and the triangular. So take note which one you're using. It's not a Phillips on the back of the JoyCon. Let's take these out and see what we have here. Got little nubs that can go on top of the JoyCon. And then we have the actual JoyCons themselves. So 4 nubs, 2 JoyCons. 2 analog controllers, I should say, for the JoyCons. There you have it. Interesting. Not much to it. Very, very simple. So let's get this JoyCon open and see what really happens here. I'll flip it over. Now you're going to use the star bit to open this up, okay? You should feel it grip. I'm going to attempt to keep the camera on while also not stripping this little star bit. You're going to feel it which one's right. They look extremely similar. Alright, use a fair bit of pressure because you don't want to strip it. If you're not doing it tight enough and the screwdriver is slipping, then that bit will strip. So you want to make sure it's not slipping, that it stays put. It's just tight enough to stay put, get the initial turn going. Once it loosens up, you'll feel it and get that out. Tough to really show you what I'm doing, but I'm getting a screw out, so you get the idea. Keep on, you gotta put these back in. You have to put them back in. So don't strip them. So there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are out. And we're going to work on opening this sucker up. Just real gentle. It should have came with a case cracker. It's a little plastic tool that you work around something like this to get it open. It did not. So I'm using my fingernail. You'll see the clip is right here. This is the controller. There's a little clip right here. If you can just press under and prop it, you'll hear it clink, like snap almost. And then it's off. And there you go. Now there's 2 ribbon cables. Right there, you see these 2 ribbon cables? So be real careful. You don't want to ruin those 2 ribbon cables. You can see them right there. And right there. Now let's change the actual controller itself. First things first is there is a battery in the way. So we need to get this battery out of the way. I'm being real gentle. Just want to see kind of how the battery is. There you go. Tiniest piece of double-sided tape holding it down. So what I did is I went behind it. Sorry. I went behind it because you'll see there's this little divot kind of in the controller right here where you can get under the battery and just prop it up and it just comes right out. It's just double-sided tape. Super easy. Not a big deal at all. So there's the battery. Again, we're getting to the analog, which you can see is underneath a second piece of plastic. That's where the Phillips head screwdriver comes into play. There's two screws here and here. When you open yours, you will see them. Okay. Here and here. Again, these are ribbon cables. Super sensitive cables. You want to avoid ruining them at all costs, okay? Pulling that board off right there. That, I believe, is the transmitter. The Bluetooth transmitter. Oh, and look at that. Another screw right there. Let's take that off. Again, I'm doing this for the very first time with no practice. There you go. Watch out for that ribbon cable. I'm thinking maybe. Okay. There you go. There you go. I just flipped it over. Just be real careful. I don't know if you can see that ribbon cable. Right there. It's super small. Just flipped it over and it's stuck in right there. You don't want to take that out if you don't have to. Ribbon cables are really hard to get out and really hard to get back in. And what we're going to need to do is take out this analog controller right here and that ribbon cable right there. Do you see it? This is the controller and this is the ribbon cable to the controller right there. There's a little tab, it's a little locking tab. You're gonna pick it up real gentle, like, let's see. See? I picked it up, that's it. That unlocked this ribbon cable. Taking that little piece of plastic, this little black thing, and just picking it up. You'll be super gentle, because it's super tiny. Now we're gonna actually take the analog off, and that's Phillips again. Ready? There's one screw on the lower left corner. Right there, you can't miss it. In case you're saying like, oh, but I can miss it. All right, there it is, right there. And the other one is right here. There's no other screws in this location. This is it. Now the kit does not come with new screws. Now since you unlocked the ribbon cable, this should pop right off, and it did. So there's the analog right there, the old one. Just the board, a little ribbon cable. So we're gonna get a new one. By just backing up, we're gonna match up with what they sent us here in the JoyCon kit, right? So there's that one, and there's that one. So it looks like they're identical. They're exactly the same. So we're just gonna go ahead and pick one. All right, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm gonna take this one right here. Remember not to lose your little screws. The fun part here is going to be that now it's going to actually sit higher because of the actual JoyCon nub. So you push it through, you see it sitting higher, it's not flat anymore because the previous JoyCon analog was missing the actual controller. This one isn't, so just be real careful there. You might actually want to prop the controller on something, even if it's just maybe a pair of USB sticks, just to raise that controller up, right? A pair of USB drives or wireless dongles, anything about the width of the analog. Just gonna prop the controller up to make up for that, you know, that extra space, to add some space underneath the JoyCon. Here we go. I'm gonna put this ribbon cable in. And it's going to be tricky, so you may or may not actually get to see me do it. I'm going to try to do it on the camera. And you could probably use the tweezer for this, but I'm going to try to use my finger. You will notice that there is a thick portion of the ribbon cable. It has like a plasticky portion at the very end. That's to allow you to actually stick it in. That's the strongest part of the cable. It gives it a little bit of rigidness to get it in. And it's going to be super pain in the ass. You may not even tell it's in. Seems to be in. These ribbon cables are real small. When you get it in, you're going to push down that little lock. Remember that little lock we talked about? Push it back down, but don't break it. There you go. Can you actually see what I just did there? I mean, I don't think so. I took that little ribbon cable, I stuck it into the little piece, right? Then this is a little black switch. I pushed it down, okay, to lock, there, and up to unlock. So now it's in. The ribbon cable is actually in. And we're going to close it up and put the 2 screws in. These are tiny, pathetic, little, microscopic little screws. And we're going to stick them in there and hope for the best. And pray I don't lose them or have them bounce out of my desk. And I'm sorry if the video footage isn't super, but the idea is there. I'm not thrilled with these screwdrivers. They could be better, but I do like that they have little rubber grips and that you know for sure they're the right size. Okay, that one's in, that one's in. So now we have a new analog. Now be real careful, because we're going to fold this battery compartment back on top. You might recall we folded it off earlier. Don't break the ribbon cable. Okay, so we're folding it back. There are 2 springs that go underneath that controller right there. We're going to make sure that those 2 springs are still on. And you'll see mine actually isn't. I'm going to use the tweezer and put it back. There's a little hole where the spring goes. I pinched it and pushed it down. So now that both springs are in place, we're going to screw this back in. Okay. And I will attempt to allow you to see what I'm doing. It's going to be 2 small silver screws again. This one. Now you might want to use a magnetic screwdriver for this, but I'm using the ones that came with the kit. So we're going to spend no extra money and no extra tools. We're going to use only what the kit provided. These tweezers are actually super helpful. They're also super small, so you know, it takes a little getting used to. There you go, I dropped it right in. And we're going to put that screw down too. Don't go super hard, okay? You want to break it. And don't use the wrong screwdriver. Okay. That one feels a little stripped, but I'm not sure. Next thing, we fold the battery, put it back in. This is the antenna. Put it back in. Okay. Doesn't stay very tight, so just kind of slip it there. Alright, so there you go. The little antenna piece slides back in that little notch. This just sits back here. We just did 2 screws, right? This one here, and this one right there by that ribbon cable, so be super gentle. And then we're going to fold this back over and clip it back together. You're going to give it a little push. And it goes back together pretty gently. And look at that. There's your analog. Let's put the screws back in and give it a go. Again, remember using the triangle bit. I know there's a term for it, but I don't know. It just looks like a triangle. And it's really stupid. And the idea, I guess, is to make it more difficult for you to take apart. Why, I don't know. Maybe there's some other technical reason to have a bit and a screwdriver that pretty much nobody on the planet uses. I don't know. Keep in mind you're screwing into plastic. The threads are not metal. They're plastic. For your $70, you get plastic threads. So if you force these screws too tightly, they will strip and you won't be able to tighten it anymore. That'll be that. So there you have it. There's your blue Joy-Con. I did it with the kit, which you can see in the description below. And I'll try to make the link actually pop up right here on this video. So let's go ahead and without further ado, let's test it. This is my beloved switch right here. Sitting on a Moco stand, the best aluminum stand on the planet. Link in the description as well. If you want to buy one, please use my affiliate links. It helps me out a ton. And it makes the company who sends me these things very happy. Right Joy-Con off. Blue neon Joy-Con on. Love that satisfying click. Look how fast. There's an update available for the controller. Let's do that right now. Okay, now that the controller is installed and updated, go to Settings. Don't go there. Settings. Controllers and Sensors. Not update controllers, but calibrate controllers. Press down on the controller you want to calibrate, so we're pressing down on that one. And then check to make sure plus is shown instead of circle when your stick is not being touched. You'll see that my plus is not showing that it's actually drifting a bit, right? You want to be there. So let's press X to calibrate. Recalibrate only if there's a problem. Well, there was no plus, there was a movement. So calibrating. Move the stick towards the triangle and release it when the color of the triangle changes. So we're moving it, and when the color of the triangle gets solid, we let go. Rotate the stick in a large circle 2 or 3 times. Calibration complete. Now you'll notice that the symbol is a plus, not a circle. Let's drop into a game and check it out. My Time at Porsche on Nintendo Switch. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Working. Nice and sensitive too. Look, I can go big, I can go fast, I can go slow, medium, up, down. There's no dead zones. So very, very nice. We've changed the analog and saved beautiful blue Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. Looks pretty awesome. There you have it. That's how you change your Nintendo Switch analog and save your broken Joy-Con. In the description you'll find a link to where you can buy the replacement analog along with the kit that came with it, the screwdrivers and the tweezers. And in the link you'll also find the stand that I'm using right now. And go ahead and give it a try. Let me know how it worked out for you. And thanks for watching. Oh, don't forget, please subscribe.